Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to the exciting day of Style Esports. I'm Ravish, Ravish Khan, the most Ravish man on the internet, joined as always by the always so sultry X-Men87. And we're ready to get into season number 5 for the Syndicate versus Team Death Realm Gamma. X-Men, how you doing as you go to pick some bets?
Doing just fine, thank you, Ravish. What's up, guys? It's X-Men87. And like Ravish already said, it's time to get sultry up in here. We're already into the pro draft, folks. In fact, we're already through the first ban phase. So let's take a look at this draft real quick. What's going on so far here? Team Death Realm Gamma, locked in Zillion. How do we feel about this, Rav?
I mean, I'm thinking, look now, X-Men. I don't know a ton about this game. I'm lying. I'm an expert here. But what I would like to say, the Zillion's Senna lane seems like a very lockdown, very control-heavy type. They are going to. It really does vary because they're not necessarily going to push. They're not necessarily going to really push a lot. But what they will do, though, they will put out exuberant amounts of damage as heals. And considering Zillion also has a speed up as well, that should be a lot of fun to deal with for anybody they're up against. And considering it'll be the Kai'Sa up on the bot side, should be a fun one. Overall, considering Kai'Sa doesn't have the best range, and early on, she really needs to get well before she really becomes relevant in the game. It should be quite back and forth. I imagine Senna and Zillion should be able to take over Poly pretty easily.
It's a great point, Rav. Everybody on TDRG so far has movement speed mechanics in their kit, and we'll see if that continues in the second pick phase as we are into the second ban phase now. And those strange bans continue into this phase. We got the Victor ban coming out for you. Wukong and Akali taken away by the Syndicate here as well. So just a lot of high damage champions, to be honest. But the Syndicate comp is starting to look pretty good. I like the Kai'Sa pick. Graves coming out as well. And the Shen to round things out a little bit. It looks like both sides will be looking for a mid laner, unless that Zillion for TDRG is going mid. And that, while we have seen it in pro, would be a little strange. I'm excited. We'll see what they have for us.
I can't imagine they go ahead and bring out the overall Zillion mid on us too. Like, Nick, no one is really Bjergsen just yet. But I do remain to be surprised and awed as we are waiting on the pick from the Syndicate. It will be the Corki, which, let's go. I'm a big Corki fan. I obviously love it. It's definitely gonna go in the mid lane, which I imagine, and they pick the LeBlanc pick into it, which honestly, LeBlanc, absolutely solid pick, does have a fair amount of damage early on. And also, the assassin's capabilities that it carries are huge. And the final pick to go and round off the TDR's draft will be Aatrox.
And that is really the issue here. R4 Corki is fairly good, is a fairly blindable champion. However, if you're going up against assassins, things get real rough real quick. You're basically looking for any source of safety you can find if you're Corki in this lane. And with a Graves jungle, that safety isn't too much, right? I mean, you're having another source of damage come in for you for ganks. It's not necessarily what Corki was looking for. He's looking for somebody to just stop LeBlanc getting on top of him. They do have Shen. I think it would be a real waste to stand united to just ult mid to save a Corki a couple times early in this lane, but it is the type of thing that can enable a Corki to get to that late game, which is what the Corki is looking for. All in all, I think LeBlanc probably just wins this lane. I think that's probably just how this goes, but we'll see if that's a major factor in this game. I don't necessarily expect it to. There's the possibility both sides just go even in this mid lane, but we'll have to find out. TDRG picking up Aatrox, so I feel like they've already lost here, Rav. That's a terrible champion.
I mean, hey, whoa. We don't want to discount any champion at all. I think Aatrox is not necessarily a terrible champion. That's such a strong statement, accent. He right now in the meta isn't great. Like, it's in terms of what he's able to do, many laners just do it better than him. Like, which is the main thing. Like, if you go ahead and opt for, let's say, like a Camille, right, or the Wukong, which is also presented as an option, or even a Fiora, like, it's just they just do a lot of his gap closing, consistent damage output type abilities way better, especially Camille too right now, because she has such high damage output to her duelist powers are absolutely incredible. And going up against the Shen, the Camille does do well early on though, but you will also be opting into a losing matchup as well, because Shen, once he's able to get Barrel Vest and Bomby Cinder, he's able to outtrade Camille very easily if it's a good Shen.
For sure there, Math. But we're into the actual champion select now, and everything, going smoothly. They're just going to pick all the same champions and ban all the same things as well. But yeah, we got our team comps lined up here for us, and I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here and a lot of different champions than what we normally see in the meta. I think Aatrox is a good point, and I like the point you made about Aatrox. He's not a bad champion. He's just kind of cursed in this league, but we'll have to see if Croc can have a better game on Aatrox than the Aatroxes we've seen in Style Esports so far. I for one hope that they can make a comeback with this champion, but my heart tells me that's probably not what's going to be happening. Also, that I don't think we actually pointed out, this is Zillion support. That's not going to be mid lane. The LeBlanc can't support or anything. So
No, of course, yeah. It's just that was pretty much standard overall, though. But Axeman, go ahead and break down for me what each of these comps are trying to do. Like, where do you see, like a Team Dealth, what are they trying to accomplish, and what do you see the Syndicate doing as well?
I think Team Death Realm is looking for, well, early in the draft, we identified there's a lot of movement speed in these kits. I think that's something that continued into the back half of the draft, is just mobility. Not so much like movement speed with LeBlanc, but it just, there's so much hard mobility in the champion that it kind of continues nonetheless. This is a very fast team. They want to be looking for flanks with Hecarim, flanks with LeBlanc. They want to be going in, diving with champions like Aatrox, and they can even, kite back for Senna and stuff like that. But this is a very high octane team that focuses on target access and getting into that back line. Over in the Syndicate, kind of similar. I mean, there's a lot of good duelists, close range marksmen on this team. The Kais, the Corki, the Graves, and support staff for them as well, being able to frontline. What I will say is, while these are two fairly similar comps, I think Syndicate can play front to back a little bit better, so I think that gives them a little bit of an edge. But if it comes down to just whoever pulls the trigger first or gets a pick or something like that, I feel like TDRG's draft is really, really strong here.
Yeah, definitely. So, like both of these teams having a really solid overall scaling compositions. Also, they want to go ahead and add, you were going ahead and talking about a lot of movement speed. And they have your Axeman and TDRG, like that. With the Hecarim too, they're looking for a lot of early control as well. They need to go ahead and get many of the lanes ahead to be able to at least snowball the lead. Hecarim is a very feast or famine champion. He needs to be relevant to do anything at all. And early on, if he does not get ahead, his ultimate will be pretty much ultimately useless. He'll be diving in to pretty much die, which is unfortunate. But if you go ahead and look inside of the Syndicate has all scale pretty much. Like with the Shen, Graves, Corki, and Kaisetsu, they want to go ahead and play this at a lot slower to be able to reach their 2 or 3 item power spikes. And then they should be able to just take over the game though. But one thing which is interesting is that with the Syndicate have the global pressure on the side with the Shen, but Hecarim on the other side for Death Realm Gamma is able to move around the map so fast. Like, even if you go ahead and catch him on a ping up on blue side, he'll be down in red within 10 seconds, which is so unfortunate. But it also does allow for a lot of flexibility in the way the movements and ganks come into it. So we'll see how they actually utilize a lot of it. I know you're excited, Axeman. I know I am. This should be a fun and absolute banger of a series. So with that being said, we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes. Do not touch that mouse button. And welcome back, mi amigos y mi amigas. ¿Cómo estás? We're back for some style esports here for the DRG versus the Syndicate. Rapture Grab is joined by the Axeman. We're on the Rift for game number 1 in its best of 3 series. Axeman 87, how are you?
Doing just fine, Rav. Thanks so much. What's up, guys? Sax87. And there's a little bit of a counter invade here from TDRG. They're down the bot side, 3 stacked in that bush. But it's just going to be the 5-point from Syndicate. Nothing too serious here at the start of game 1. Actually, resets from 2 champions here on TDRG. They back, and there's a scanner on one. No scanner on the other. No scanner on this Zillion yet, but some solid early vision here. Once again, just really defensive from TDRG so far. I think they might have been expecting an invade. That seems fairly obvious, but Nautilus, the level 1 is good. I wouldn't say it's this good, you know, but I can admire the commitment to defense here.
I mean, I think it would have been pretty solid if they also had, let's say, pretty much everybody else there with them too, like on the Shen, because with Taunt and Graves would have been pretty solid to go forth. But hey, nothing really happened, so nothing too exciting. But you know, both teams decided to just go ahead and play it slow and like that. Decided that they want to like play things out and see as they may. We see that the Hacker goes starts on the red and Graves starts on the blue. Pretty standard for both types of junglers here. Hacker are obviously going to be looking for a early gank. They'll go for the level 2 or 3 power spike, and Graves is going to want the power form for as long as he can.
Absolutely correct there, Rav, but it is this double glacial augment here for Tilo Rice and Professor Bard. And this is pretty interesting. I don't think we've seen this. Ooh, hooking onto Bard. Wow. Yeah. He ate that entire Acadian Rain. That was not what you want to be seeing at the start of a lane like this. Losing even at level 1. That wasn't even like a level 2 spike or anything. That's just raw Acadian Rain damage right there.
And that's the power of the Nautilus, right? Especially when you're able to go ahead, land the hook, get the passive, and a couple of shots here and there. Yeah, you can see just how much damage it's able to do. And on a squishy Zillion, yeah, it's not looking too great. And that's honestly going to happen for a fair amount of time until Zillion is able to get like at least level 2 or level 3. So that's really where that stands overall. But considering Zillion's early game, we know from just watching many Zillion games that it's absolutely abysmal, but gank up on the top side. Toxic Vein sees it though, use the top already, but is able to get up pretty easily.
Yep, yeah, he just gets right out of there, but that's nothing blown either. No flash. I guess he must have had taunt up or something. I don't know what happened, but
yes.
Yeah, so he taunts out of there. I'm starting to wonder if Spell Thief's Edge was a mistake here. I feel like you're not going to be able to reliably land that many bombs. It's a pretty telegraphed thing about Zillion, so I'll admit I don't play a lot of Zillion, but oh, here we go. Tilo Rice taking a little bit of poke there. That's quite a bit of damage, but yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see if this works out for him, but
I mean, like if you're not able to land a bomb as Zillion, what are you really doing, right, X-Men? It's like that's kind of your whole shtick. As he's a return coming from I Love Waffles, wanted to get the flash on Toxic Vein.
Ooh.
In the taunt and the back knock up too. He's so low, gets the flash. One more auto, and there it is. First blood for a Kronk.
Yeah, that's well played by Kronk here. It lands a lot of skill shots, and that's all you really need to do on Aatrox is get those what do they call it? The area of effect at the end of the Qs. And if you nail those, man, that's what it's all about. Shen is not going to have a prayer in the early game, but Aatrox needs that snowball to really be relevant in a game, and it's starting to come through for him. We'll see if he can keep it up, but Dragon up in just 45 seconds now. Both junglers should be at least pathing to that side of the jungle. Root in the mid lane. But Speed Saber's just out of mana. No more damage, no follow-up there. Oh, that hook, though.
Yeah, it was a nice little hook. Actually, Tilo Rice takes a lot of damage. Has to go and spare for him. Be able to go and survive. Pure Sonic exhausted up, slowed down. Has to use heal, but Tilo Rice, you're way too forward. Man, what are you doing? You're so low. Oh, no. That is unfortunate. And Suika's going down to the bot side.
Yeah, people always sleep on that 5 ability power from Relic Shield, Rav. This Nautilus does some pretty solid damage, especially when you have sub 100 health, right? I mean, Nautilus can do 60 damage, but most champions can. So yeah, just a little bit too far forward there, and the Knot takes advantage, picks up that early kill. Did he get the double actually? No, it's 1 kill apiece, so they both pick up the kill here. Yeah, just a little too aggressive. It's unfortunate. Speed Saber still no reset, still fairly low on mana, but Zavian's here, seeing if he can make something happen, and it's not going to be too much, but
he's just gonna come and just tax his lane pretty much and decide, you know what? No, your farm, our farm.
Yeah.
It resets the waves so that at least Correndo. Exactly. It's just going to reset the waves just so Correndo can go ahead and back pretty easily. So, not too bad for him. He's near the space. So at least the Corki could actually try to reset. As Toxic Vayne, a lot of damage. He had to get up on the top side, eating those 3 spells. He gets pulled into this Aatrox having a great time. Top side, and Shen is a little bit scared.
A little bit scared. Yeah, I would go ahead and agree with that. I think I'd be pretty scared about his Toxic Vayne. This Aatrox is starting to look spooky, right? I mean, he's got total my CS. He's got items where I have, just basic items. He has component items. It's not looking too good for him, but we'll keep track of that top side as it actually looks like maybe they're going for the dive here. Love Waffle on the backside of the flank with Hecarim. Here he comes.
There's a massive wave that already, and he doesn't have a care or chance in the world to be able to survive that at all, and that's Toxic Vayne dead.
Yeah, he just goes right down. A very effective dive there for TDRG, and they just really executed very well on that one. Zavian, to my mind, should have gone for Dragon, but that early word from Professor Bard right after that dive occurred is going to protect them a little bit from that. I still would have liked to see Zavian at least go sweep the area, so maybe he can come back for Dragon, but you got to be getting something. Your top laner's getting hard camped down the bot lane. Tilo Rice again!
Just immediately the Hulk lands too. There's so much data. TP coming as well. Toss that from Karunk. Pearsall is dead. The OTG has to go ahead and try to run away. But this bot side is doing beautifully well, but Karunk uses TP saving that play.
Yeah, it's a great TP there. Great usage for sure. There's problems when that Aatrox is out roaming the Shen. I'm fairly sure Stand United was up, but he's just got no way to use it effectively, right? I mean, what's he going to do? Ult down onto Nautilus? It just doesn't make sense there. But this is going to be TDRG. They're looking for the Dragon, and this should go uncontested for him. So yeah, first Dragon of the game. Over to TDRG. It's a Mountain Dragon, so helping them a little bit survive some of that poke coming through from the Corki, from the Kai'Sa. Things like that, giving them some resistances. But we'll see where the game continues with the next few dragons that pop up. Some itemization coming through for us here in the early game. Correndo picking up the Hex Drinker, trying to resist a little bit of the damage coming out of Speed Saber. That should come through in spades for him. We can already see he's got a bit of a CS lead. No other real itemization. I think Tilo Rice starting to get close to a Man Immune. Pure Salt as well. They're basically even here in the bot lane. But what are you seeing, Rev?
I mean, from the way I see it right now here, X-Men, it's two very clear. It's two very distinct quadrants of the map that are being controlled by both sides, right? And you see up on the top side here, Karunk and I Love Waffles are pretty much taking over in terms of the vision and the pressure there. Because Toxic Vayne really has to sit back and farm and just try to survive pretty much, which is his main goal objective. And farming with Shen early on isn't the easiest task, especially when you have to go and expend your tots too, which can feel quite bad. And it's like, so at this point, he's just trying to survive. But you see, roll on the top side for Zavian though. Use the Q already. Karunk is quite forward, but he has the ultimate up. I don't know if they can get this. Toxic Vayne to get aggressive. Misses the taunt. Unfortunately, gets the blind out immediately. Karunk onto the side of Kurt. Onto Zavian. Look, gets a lot of damage to Zavian. On the tower. No shots back and forth. Set ult out. Gonna secure the kill, and that's Toxic Vayne dead as well. That went awfully for the Syndicate.
Oh yeah, no, that just was not well conceived at all from the start, Rev. I don't think ganking this lane is a good idea for Zavian. I think it's just a waste of their time, waste of their resources. You can't gank a lane, physically any lane, more than Hecarim can if Hecarim has decided to camp it. You can't. Like, there's no point. He's just got too much movement speed, too much global mobility. He will always be able to gank that lane more than you, so give it up. Get something across the map, get the dragons. Hello. But yeah, we got the trading coming down the bot lane. I don't think this. Yeah, nothing really coming out of this. TDRG losing a lot of health, but top side, Other Waffles takes Rift Herald off of that last play. And yeah, I don't think you gank this top lane. And to be honest, like I made the point about not being able to outgank Hecarim if he's camping a lane. I don't think you can kill this Aatrox 2v1. Like I genuinely don't think so. He's got a level on you right now. I think he might have had 2 at the time though. And he's just a big healing champion, big juggernaut. I don't think you kill him there.
Yeah, as a lot of damage go down to the bot. Sides heal arrest me, stay alive, do the ultimate. Or do you got to back away? But killer instinct out pops the auto bit too early on that. A couple more seconds. Hecarim comes in for the save. On the ODGG, and they get to kill the boss side as well. As the DRG are kind of taking over this game in a little bit.
They certainly have. They got the 2K gold lead. They're looking at further objective control to what they already have with the Dragon, with the Rift Herald, and everything's just coming out of TDRG so far. Speed Saber.
Your fault is dead. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love what? Ooh. Well played by Xavier to get a kill back and a shutdown nonetheless. But the point you were making before about the ganks here, X-Men, I think it's really more so about like being able to actually control the pace of the game. Because yeah, definitely so. I love Waffles. He's so speedy. He's just got Star Sonic everywhere, right? Just zooming around the speed of sound. But I think with Xavier, even though he had double buffs, you saw Toxic Fame was getting pushed in. He barely had any items to his name. And considering your lane is down almost 0-2, Aatrox is quite strong, especially when he has level 6 up. There is no way you're going to be able to win or output enough damage to be able to kill him, especially when Toxic Vein either has a Bobby Cinder or a Tiamat or even Corrupting Pot. So it was, just the damage really was not going to be there. And considering I Love Waffles was able to come in for the return, and mid along with that, Corando wasn't there either to go and support his team but Speed Saber was like the dives here just were not able to happen or really be executed all that well.
So a little strange itemization here from I Love Waffles. Normally, just on Hecarim from a base level, you won't build a jungle item, you just go straight into Triforce. He's obviously gotten ahead fairly early, which makes it even stranger that he's built a jungle item here. He's completed Warrior Enchant, which is fine. I mean, it's an item you should build in Hecarim, but normally you build Triforce first. So we'll see if this results in any kind of change in this Hecarim gameplay. I don't think it's going to matter at the end of the day. I mean, he's just so far ahead that I don't think it's worth calling him out on a weird build. But hey, maybe it has an effect later in this game. Maybe he won't be as relevant or fall off a little bit harder. We'll have to see. Meanwhile, this Hecarim out farming a Graves right now. Not great. Not great for the Graves.
I mean, honestly, pretty so considering how fast he's been around. Graves, though, his clear isn't like phenomenal early on as Hook lands already up to TL Rice. Here comes the Hecarim, and OTG is already dead. Yet again, the package is out, blowing everybody up. Nice diving coming in. We're trying to go out on the back side. But the double. Sorry, my voice got a double coming in for Toxic Vein as well. They'll be able to survive. That's absolutely huge, but Kronk of the World Ender. He wants to something, but just cannot. Because everybody has backed away. The fight is over. And the Syndicate 4-0.
This is huge. This is an absolutely huge fight here for the Syndicate. Teleport channel, actually. Corando coming back to the play. Completely uncontested on this Dragon. I don't think they need Corando and teleport there, but, a little bit of safety goes a long way on these objective plays, and it is now one Dragon apiece as we have a Cloud map on Summoner's Rift tonight for Game 1, and that, I gotta say, is good for both junglers, but it's way better for Hecarim. If you get passive AD from movement speed, Cloud feels great. Cloud Soul feels good. The Cloud map feels good. Everything is coming up Hecarim at this point. And we're watching him take this red right now. So much damage. It's crazy.
Yeah, and if you just go ahead and get more, it would be absolutely huge because I Love Waffles will become speed, which would be a lot of fun and really doesn't see. But forward side of the DRG, but Syndicate though, really well played team fight for them overall. Really good back to front. And plus Toxic Vein being able to get 2 kills. He should be able to at least go even in the lane against Karunk at this point too. We'll be pushing too far against the Bobby Cinder along with Tiamat as well. Now, side notes on my top laners there. If you are getting a pressure to push in the lane and you're playing a tank laner, as we'll see Toxic Vein get thrown out a little bit. Xavier's here though, and top prioritized bit. If you get a pressure push in lane, getting a Thornmill and getting a Bramble Vest and Bomby Cinder are the two cheapest, most cost-effective items you can go ahead and build to just survive and at least try to go even in lane. So remember that.
This is exactly what he's looking for, right? He's got healing reduction, he's got Baby Cinder. Both these things are helping him with wave clear, and the Tiamat on top of it is making him a competent comeback tool for the Syndicate. So this is fantastic itemization. This is good itemization on Shen anyway. I mean, this ought to be what you're building on Shen 90% of the time anyway. And to an 80 threat, deals damage with their auto attacks. So good on Toxic Vein to buy these items, but I love Waffle.
Rando gets dove in on ulted out, ignited up though. So much damage, and I love Waffles who secured the kill onto the Corki.
He gets out this time too, which I wasn't really expecting. Normally you don't dive 2 turrets and get out. The flash ult from Xavian, not gonna get anything for him there. It's good attempts. It's pretty close. Almost got out of Waffles, but doesn't in the end. It'll be TDRG looking for the Rift Herald, and they've got the numbers here, Rav.
They should be able to pretty easily get it, considering Xavier knows he can't really contest. His flash is down, and so is his ultimate, so would not really work out at all, right? As we did a small pause, though, but it was resolved pretty easily overall. But right now we're saying, because in the back and the forth with a team fight, the Syndicate, they get a bit of space, but OTGG locked up a lot of damage onto him. He might be dead here, actually, in Bomblands too. Barely surviving Toxic Vein, saving his life. Heal used well by Pure Salt.
Very, very well played, but TDRG dropping the Rift Herald.
OTGG immediately get him knocked out because the wrong take takes a bunch of damage as well. Saving coming out of the backside, doesn't have the ultimate yet though. They cannot fight anything as the tower will not fall.
Syndicate making a strong argument for keeping their turret there, having a fairly good defense of that objective, with the 4-man especially doing pretty well. I think it was actually all 5 members. I think Nautilus might have reset there. So yeah, all 5 members show up. They're here to defend their turret. They are successful, but there's not much health left on this turret, so I'm not sure. They might have just prevented the inevitable for a short time here. Meanwhile, down the bot lane, Speed Saber split pushing the whole time. This LeBlanc is starting to get stacked up here. Still not as much CS as Corando on Corki, but you know, the 302, this is a pretty big LeBlanc. Complete that first time. Professor Bard taking a lot of damage there.
But saving the ultimate though, Axman, that's the key part here. I'm assuming that Xavier wanted to bait that corner shift possible, but doesn't do so, which is, you know, honestly really good just overall diligence and control coming in. But for Professor Bard to be able to survive it as TLR Rise takes it a bit of damage, locks off Xavier though, but none I think will happen there. But on the topic of Corando too, which we're talking about as well, along with Speed Saber, we're seeing that already Speed Saber has Lunans and Sorcery Boots as well. And so is Corando too. Corando does go ahead and have the first meta mute, but has to go ahead and opt into the Hex Drinker as well to be able to lane as there's a corner shift. There's Zillion dead. Pure Assault under tower should die as well. Xavier exhausted up. Bunch of damage. Professor Bartle goes to get the kill though, as OTGG should be dead as well. That's a double comment on the side of I Love Waffles, as Toxic Vein barely gets away. That's drag for DRG.
Huge play here, Round. They get all these picks right before Dragons, exactly what they were looking for. And it is going to be TDRG with the Hacker M picking up their first Cloud Dragon here. And all these ultimates are going to be on a little bit shorter cooldown. Those are some big ultimates too. I Love Waffles looking for blue buff. Speed Saber says, no, I'll take that. Yoink. And yeah, Speed Saber, we're talking a little bit about them catching up to Corando. They completed Loon's Echo so far. It's a strong item there, but nothing else yet. They just have the 10-stack Dark Seal, so they're doing quite a bit of damage. A lot of that is coming from the Sork Shoes, the Dark Seal, and those two there. But we'll see if they can get any bigger. I don't necessarily think Speed Saber is the hyper carry here. I feel like they're just kind of a competent source of magic damage for the team. And that's really all you need to be sometimes as an AP assassin like LeBlanc is. I think the big hyper carry is going to be I Love Waffles with like a side of Croc. And these two will be basically unkillable. As they look to the late game, it's not like they're falling off, Rav. They got a Senna on their team.
No, not at all. I love Waffle should fall off a little bit later on, though, but depending on how late the game goes, because I think it's 5-2-5. You know, Speed Saber is, as I'll go and hold that thought. I love Waffles diving onto OTG. Takes a bunch of damage back to Pearsall, putting out so much. As no kills will be had on the bot side, though, as well. Corrender taking a fair bit. Nice hook in, immediately on to Professor Bard. He will go ahead and get resurrected as corner shift is put out. TP coming in too from Kronk as well to just take them out of the fight. As a top side, those Speed Sabers to push in pretty easily, but no kills to be had across the board.
Yeah, and the side lane LeBlanc has been a bit of a...
I'm gonna have to cut you off here, Axeman. Unfortunately, as OTG surviving for a couple more seconds, the Stand United is not enough, as he will get caught yet again. But the question is, can the Syndicate get anything back? Looks like no.
It's a good question. I don't think they can. Yeah, they have quite a bit of damage, but TDRG, they're just so far ahead at this stage. They're like 5k gold in the lead. That's spread across their carries almost perfectly. It's really just Tilo Rice that's kind of suffering a little bit from these trades. And you just have to take a look at the shutdown gold to know that it is very much TDRG who are in the lead right now. I mean, they all have like 400, 300 shutdown gold here. Looks like we avoided a pause there, which is nice, but little pause coming out. But yeah, I mean, they're huge. That Dark Seal got upgraded for Speed Saber into a Magi Soul Stealer. They've retained the 10 stacks from the Dark Seal too. So they get the movement speed buff, all that good stuff. Yeah, I mean, this is just huge. I like the way they're playing with the side lane LeBlanc too. I think that's really good. Oh, flash in here.
Halt. Barely surviving, not gonna say ulted, but OTG giving up his life for his carry, a noble cause.
The flash burst there from Speed Saber, not quite enough. They weren't able to get... Oh, it might be this time. Nope, just damage down onto Xavian, but they weren't quite able to get off Ignite there from Speed Saber, and I feel that would have netted them the kill, so unfortunately they couldn't quite get that down there. But yeah, it's going to continue to be the side lane for Speed Saber, and this is what prevents champions from falling off, is just sitting a side lane the whole time. It's like, oh man, you're going to be a level ahead of everybody else on the map for the foreseeable future, right? I mean, they're even a level ahead of Toxic Bane right now, another solo laner. So this is pretty big. This LeBlanc's getting scary here, Rep.
Which is, yeah, and she also went ahead and picked herself up the Eagle book as well here, X-Men. So 40 stacks on that. You know, just wanted to go ahead and flex on everybody else. And considering as OTG is dead.
Oh!
That's it.
What?
He's just dead. That was an exorbitant amount of damage immediately to his face, and LeBlanc, as we said over and over again, and as you have as well, X-Men, it's scary.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying here. I do not envy the Syndicate having to deal with this, but the gold lead continues to grow, almost 6k now. But a lot of mana immunes in this game here, Rab. Items pretty OP. Got the Kai'Sa, got the Corki mana immune, got the Senna mana immune. They're all starting to stack up a little bit here. But yeah, got Dragon under a minute here. That should be soul point for TDRG.
Yeah, if they are able to get it though, right? That's a real overall question. The Syndicate, I find, needs to definitely go ahead and fight for this. Sorry, excuse me, but they're really in no position to do so. At this point, they have some position up in their jungle, but none really around the pit or really anywhere near it. But we see Corki has package though, which is absolutely huge. So, and the package can be a game-changing ability if used right in a team fight. As Drag is up in another second, we already see Professor Bard and Kronk pathing themselves over to it. As Tilo Rice lands the hook on immediately onto Graves though. It's a bunch of damage.
Ooh.
But we see C3 gets shut down on the backside. I love almost in the middle of the fight. It's going to get so much damage though.
Oh,
the other locked up, the Kronk is just going insane. Nobody can actually kill him at all. Toxic should be dead here as well as Coretta did did go ahead and get to use the package to get one though. But it's just a back and forth team fight here. Well, so Toxic trying to get away, make sure it's almost even, but it will not be, as that is a 4-for-3 here for the side of DRG.
Just huge for TDRG. This will put them at soul point, and Yeah, what a big fight for them. It's going to be Corando looking for the Triforce here. And you would have thought maybe the Corki goes to the steal on that dragon, but isn't going to go for it at the end of the day. And I think they might have enough gold. No, they don't quite have enough gold to complete Triforce. Feels pretty bad, man. You really need to start getting that item. Update on Hecarim does have the Triforce. Finish that eventually. That was second item for them. And I think now they're going for Black Cleaver, maybe? But could be... I'm not sure what else is building out of pickaxe, so I'm thinking probably... Does Black Cleaver build out of pickaxe? Now I'm questioning myself. No, it doesn't. So what's he building out of pickaxe with 2 ruby crystals? I don't know. It could be anything. Who knows?
It's all good, Axel. I'm sure you'll figure it out one day. It's you stay tuned to see if Paxat figures out.
Yeah. We might be here a while.
But overall, besides that, though, we're seeing with Soul Point going already onto TDRG. They're 19 and 10 in this game with 6k gold laid with us 6k gold though. But the team fights so far for the side of the Syndicate are still not too far off. If they can just stand and just not get picked off on the sidelines and try to fight as no, Xavier was on a ward and he did not know that, and he is dead. And this should be Baron though, coming in for TDRG if they're going to make the call.
Sterix Gauge is what he's building.
There you go.
Builds out of the pickaxe.
I know you get it.
Ruby crystals. Yeah. It kind of threw me that it doesn't. It builds out of a Jarm's Fist, not 2 ruby crystals. That's what threw me. But yeah, this is no, not too early of a Baron. But yeah, I was gonna say they're baiting this. That's
really about it. OTGG's dead. Pure Soul not gonna go ahead and get hit by Dawning Shadows, but we're likely to get hit by everybody else on TDRG. If they didn't have Baron, they do have it now, X-Men.
They certainly do. The gold lead continues to climb here for TDRG as they are been absolutely dominant here in game 1. I mean, there's 1 death on Speed Saber. They've just been stacking this Vajai Soul Stealer practically all game ever since they picked the Dark Seal. Now it's going to be TDRG actually going for Baron, I feel, this time. I don't think they're baiting it. They do have 4 members consistently hitting it. I think that's what's really telling me. They keep the LeBlanc in the side lane. And this is important because that's really been their bread and butter, is just this LeBlanc continuing to apply pressure, right? It's kind of this, if you want to take what we're taking from us, LeBlanc is going to take something from you. If you want to go and stop LeBlanc, best of luck. I don't think you're going to be able to do it. I don't think there's anybody in the Syndicate right now who can 1v1 LeBlanc or chase them down. You can't do both.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, you cannot though. And LeBlanc is just so speedy. She's able to just just zoom wherever she can go. Plus, if you're also looking across the board here, there's almost no MR on pretty much anybody of the Syndicate except Corando, who has the Hex Drinker, and that is it. And of course OTG, but then that's because of support item of Zeke's and so on. But it's that's it here. So really, if anybody gets hit by a full burst coming in front Speed Saber, they're pretty much dead, as you've seen before here, X-Man. As we're into a small little pause, I believe the ADC for the side of the Syndicate is lagging just a little bit. So they just need a couple seconds to be able to go ahead and stabilize their mice, feed them a little bit more though. But X-Men, looking at the state of the game, what do you see the Syndicate would have to do to be able to get back into it?
I think it's all about picks. You're looking for shutdown gold on champions like Kronk, who's got 550 on them right now, 300 on the Hecarim, on the Senna as well. These are objectives, kind of like little mini objectives you could look for your team, because no matter how far behind you are, normally you can 3v1 someone. If you're in a death bush, you just lock them down and burst them. That's all it takes. You have tons of lockdown on your comp. You have tons of damage on your comp. Try to set up a death bush. Try to get that pick down. That's how you start to at least get advantages to get yourself back in the game. After that, it's kind of like scaling. I mean, you scale pretty hard with this Corki, with the Graves, with the Kai'Sa. I don't know if you outscale Senna necessarily, but you definitely have scaling. So that is something you could look for, as well as just like pushing this game out, trying to delay it, trying to steal a dragon here or there, and just try to make this a longer game to help yourselves out a little bit. But yeah, those doors are closing here, Rav. I said normally you can 3v1 somebody. It gets to a point where you just can't if you're far enough behind. I don't quite think the Syndicate are there though. So yeah, you got to be looking for picks.
The doors are definitely closed, and they're going into what I like to call the point of no return here. The like just the absolute exodia of leads, right? Because if you look at it in just a couple hundred, TDRG will reach 10K gold lead. Now, once that 10K hits, it is going to be a rough time for the Syndicate. Considering right now, with the way you're seeing it, LeBlanc is 4-1. Hecarim is 9-3. Krunk is 3-0-8 with 3 items too. Almost all the laners have 3 items to their name, which is so they've all hit very solid power spikes overall. And considering there's also the Oblivion Orb too on Speed Saber, I'm gonna hope he doesn't build all the way up to Morello's because it just won't really be worth it. But getting the heal cut down too is huge, especially for the likes of Shen, along with Pure Salt as well, who's gone for the much more AP type build, or even OTG. Like it's just right now the Syndicate are not having a rough time, but definitely so. Getting picks might be the way that you mentioned your Axeman that they could potentially get back into the game, or honestly, not getting picked off. Right? That's been a huge thing because we've seen a couple of the laners just get caught up in a side lane or to not be able to do much too. And Corando, I find, since he is the core, he has to try first, and he also has a completely stacked more mana. I would like to see them be able to fight more as a team because they're really not fighting on their own terms. They're having 2 separate fights across, and you mentioned in draft as well, Axeman. They have a really good front to back team fight, right? So to be able to execute that would be ideal.
They certainly do. And it's looking like we're going to be towards the end of this pause here, at least from chat. And yeah, I wanted to just kind of build on the point where you're looking for picks. Looking for picks and not getting picked is essentially the same thing. It starts with setting up vision, right? You have to set up vision. You have to set it up close into the areas of the map that you still control, which is essentially right outside your base, right? Which is fine. And yeah, just start looking for picks. Look for the enemy junglers, enemy champions just showing up. Try to set up a death bush, try to get the kills down. But that's also avoiding getting picked too, right? Is standing stacked on top of each other in a bush where you have vision. You're not going to get picked that way. You're not going to give up any additional gold or anything like that. The issue being is that you have this LeBlanc in a side lane. You have the rest of the team. They're like just hard pushing down mid. You don't have time to sit in a bush for very long, right? So maybe we just see the rotation up to the top lane to be able to take down Speed Saber. I think that might be a good objective for them, but it's going to be hard, right? That is a slippery champion. You're going to have to really use your lockdown tools effectively to be able to get a kill on this LeBlanc. But there isn't shutdown gold there now. I would imagine there will be quite shortly, though. You can, if nothing else, get some stacks off that Magi Soul Stealer, which would be huge for them. Huge for cutting that damage output.
As we also see, I just noticed as well, Speed Saber almost has a Rabadon's tooth here, X-Men. So she's going to be a very, very scary LeBlanc, which is not going to be a fun time for really anybody on the side of Syndicate, who yet again, as you mentioned, consistently have no armor. Like nothing to really be able to survive anything Speed Saber is bringing, so she'll be able to just assassinate them, honestly. Which is what LeBlanc does. So, hey, living up to her name, doing her job. But as of right now, though, as we are headed back from the pause, though, with the Baron power push, I'm looking at TDRG to be able to at least be able to open up the base. Because I go back to the 1-3-1 type split that we were doing before. I find that was a lot more effective instead of trying to just group 5-man mid. But we do see them go for a 4-1 split at least to be able to attack 2 side lanes right now.
And that really is the beauty of a 1-3-1, right? Is the capability of your team to rotate wherever they want to. Now all of a sudden they're sitting 5 in the bot lane, and the Syndicate are stacking 5 down here as well. And they can't fight 5v5, right? I mean, they're just too far behind, but they're doing okay at defending this turret. It's just these Baron-empowered minions are making it a matter of time here, Rav. And TDRG have all the time in the world.
As there goes Speed Saber, goes in just that chunk onto Pure Salt. Was absolutely disgusting as they go ahead and open the base of the Syndicate. They're heading over to the Dragon, try to go ahead and get sold. But Syndicate has to bait though. Axeman, could I get a little? The gates have opened from you.
The gates have definitely opened here, Rev. But yeah, they're super open. If they weren't already, they are certainly now. But yeah, Dragon coming up in 5 seconds. This is going to be nuts. I mean, Hecarim with Cloud Soul, it doesn't get much faster than this, folks. And he is itemized fairly well for this as well with the tier 2 boots there. And I don't think it's the fastest Hecarim we'll ever see, but this is going to be pretty fast. And yeah, that 10% bonus movement speed. Let's take a look at this movement speed. Actually, yeah, just passively 500.
Nice. Wow.
Just insane.
That's the speed that you get when you like go out of base for the first time when you spawn. That's insane.
Yeah, at the height of his E, when it's at the final stage, it's 720.
He's so fast. Oh my god. Sonic right now is rolling in his cartoon, so jealous of just what I Love Waffles is able to do. Which is, and consider not even that, with the alt CDR2 coming in onto all of the players of TDRG, right? Being able to land Chrono Shift a lot faster. LeBlanc, right? Speed Saber being able to use use her ultimate way more often to land on more combos. And right now, the Syndicate are the creator of position as TDRG go ahead and go for a small reset. We do have Baron up another 2 minutes though. Right now they need to play for Elder if they can.
They certainly do. It's a great comeback mechanic. It's also a great tool to be able to just end out games. So that really will be the last available hope that the Syndicate have of making a comeback in this game is that Elder Dragon. We've been talking about picks for a little bit now. Cloud Soul makes it really hard to get picks. I mean, if any of the members of TDRG get caught, you just have to press R and run away. Like, no matter what your ult is, press R and run away will absolutely save you now. That 50% bonus movement speed, just run out of there. You have the Cloud Shrines to be able to help you get out too. I think it might be over here for the Syndicate. They just can't make picks, but it is going to be TDRG. They're pushing the top side of the map, controlling the jungle.
Yeah, pretty much at this point, if TDRG get one person for the Syndicate, it's over. Like that's essentially it. Because right now, Syndicate are just trying to survive in any lane that they can without like just dying essentially. I see Karunk fighting up against Toxic Vein. Toxic Vein should be fine overall, considering he has a Sunfire along with the Titanic Hydra as well, so shouldn't be a problem for him.
Yeah, it really shouldn't. That is a lot of wave clear, right? But that is something that's definitely working out in Syndicate's favor, is that wave clear. Corki just made a wave clear at Cathian Rain, stuff like that. It's probably what's been keeping this game going on so long as we pass 33 minutes here. Is just all that wave clear. And a lot of mobility as well. I mean, Croc might be caught out here. He's going to ult out. Yeah, like I mentioned, just press R and walk away. I mean, Aatrox's ult gives him movement speed anyway. The Cloud Soul makes it just insane.
Yeah, absolutely massive though. But Xavier might be caught out using the ult to just survive, as the damage coming with the first ult is insane.
Yeah,
Rice will survive. The OTGG is dead. As you see them going on to Correndo. On of Waffles 2 running. They wanted pretty much all these people. He will go ahead and die at the end, where Ashen Corner is going to save his life. But that was crazy. He's moving on to 3. Toxic Vein takes a couple bombs to the face. Flash out coming in. But TR Rice secured the kill off the pure assault. And this right here looks like the game act, man. They take them out back and forth. They're just so strong they can take all these disadvantages, right? And only Speed Saber dying there at the end, with credit going over to Correndo, considering how strong he is, right? But they have a couple of minions, but they have so much attack speed. They have the inhibitor, and they're going to use Chrono Shift for him to go ahead and get the health back. But TDRG will likely go ahead and take game number 1 here, as a couple more towers pop near the end. And yeah, they're going to go and take it. Yeah, but TDRG will go ahead and take game number 1 in very dominant fashion, X-Man.
Yeah, I'll say this is crazy, right? I mean, top to bottom, It really seemed like TDRG were just always in control of this game, even from the first minute, setting up that just solid defense for the level 1. And Syndicate didn't end up crashing into it, but I have to imagine if they had, this game would have ended even faster, right? And that is pretty creepy to say for a level 1 play is, oh man, if he had walked into that one, this game would have been 10 minutes shorter. So it's not a good look for game 2. Syndicate have to be very, very careful about how they play against this team because TDRG came prepared.
Yeah, they really, really did. Even though they did have some advantages up on the bot side, you know, like Pure Salt and OTG were putting on a lot of pressure. But as soon as you saw immediately the top side, you know, Karuk and I Love Waffles were able to get ahead. They were able to just extend that pressure all over the map, though. But with that being said, this is the best of 3 stages, so you don't want to go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Style Esports. And welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen, to Style Esports. And we're at game number 2 for Syndicate versus Team DRG, also as Team Death from Gamma. And we're to pick some bands here, X-Men. And after a fantastic game number 1, coming in for the TDRG, they're able to go in and close out a strong game number 2. Or will the Syndicate go ahead and perform the reverse sweep, or at least a game number 2 here? Find out and more as we're into picks and bands.
What's up, guys? Zax87, and yeah, the Syndicate gotta make something happen here in Game 2 if they want a chance to win the series. Like you said, Game 1, pretty commanding there from TDRG. They just had it from the get-go. It seemed like everything was coming up Team Death Realm, and there just wasn't any opportunity for the Syndicate to make a comeback. There was some early success from the Syndicate bot lane. That level 1 play was fairly solid for them, but other than that, I mean, everything was just kind of downhill after level 1, so that's not a good place to be in if you want to win games of League of Legends. And yeah, we're already into Game 2's draft here through the first ban phase and into the first phase of picks. And Syndicate running back Shen so far. We'll see if that gets answered by the Aatrox.
I mean, right now that we saw how previously in game number 1, right? You know, just how oppressive the Aatrox was, though. Like, considering it was able to do so much, but the set, on the other hand, being a jungle pick, should be pretty solid. Yet again, it's the Shen on the top side, so they want to go ahead and keep the gold pressure. But instead, it will be the Caitlyn Zillion bot lane this time. The Caitlyn, honestly, even receiving her small tweaks, like probably just the best ADC in the game with just how impressive she can be with the damage she was able to put out. Like just especially headshot damage, insane. I'm surprised they didn't go for the Morgana pick, especially since she is open, because with the way you can combo a Caitlyn Morgana too is beautifully well done. But Zillion, I guess they find a lot more utility in it, which is fair, considering the corner shift and the bombs and speed buffs are solid, and they also have the early game jungler again within the Olaf too. So TDRG are looking to maintain their lead clearly.
You're absolutely right. The Caitlyn Morgana lane is super massive, but Zillion came through pretty strong form there in Game 1, so I don't know if I'd throw it out the window just yet. Yeah, I think Caitlyn's got a couple nerfs. I'm not really sure what they were, but I seem to remember them being pretty severe. I think she's probably, like you said, probably still pretty good. Better than Kai'Sa anyway. Still don't like Kai'Sa, man. I think they nerfed Kai'Sa too, but man, I got to read those patch notes a little bit closer. It's going to be Set, Karma, and Shen, and it really seems like the Syndicate are trying to draft like a protect the carry comp, like just something almost like those Kog'Maw comps we saw earlier in the season where everything's just revolving around Kai'Sa, trying to keep them up. On Kog'Maw was fine. On things like, you know, the Caitlyn's, the Ashes, probably fine. On Kai'Sa, I don't like it. It doesn't feel very good to me. Rav LeBlanc can be banned away by Syndicate, is going to net them a Sylas. We'll see if this is any better for the Syndicate. Personally, I think I'd probably take LeBlanc over Sylas, but it is going to be that last pick, that R5 coming through.
LeBlanc was banned out.
Yeah, LeBlanc was banned out. And this should be a mid laner, I think, for the Syndicate. We'll see.
So, yeah, just actually,
okay.
Yeah, this is interesting. So they opted to go for the Karma So we're being told that it is Syndra, not Nautilus. So it should be fine. So you will correct your X-Men. It is the final mid laner, and it will be the Syndra going up against the Sylas up at the mid side, along with Aatrox yet again top side, and Set and Olaf will be battling in the jungle, right? With Caitlyn Zillion facing Kai'Sa and Karma. So sitting at this time, changing the comp a little bit yet again. Now, those Nautilus hook can be still quite oppressive, especially really early on. So that if they are able to go ahead and catch out the Zillion and the Caitlyn, it should be fine. But Caitlyn, though, does have escapes, right? It's able to go ahead and distance and space yourselves as well. But Karma is really good. I was gonna say, yeah, but Karma is really good. Does offer a fair amount of actually early game poke, and I realized I talked about Nautilus again when it is Syndra. Oops.
Yeah, no, I don't like pro draft, but we're Especially when you don't pick in time and it picks something random for you. It's not a good time. But yeah, it is gonna be Syndra. That should be mid lane, but I guess they can flex around, whatever. But yeah, it should be a Karma Kai's bot lane. I don't like that as much. I think we already made this point as much as the Caitlyn Zillion. Even though Caitlyn Zillion is a little strange, you've already seen Zillion from TDRG in this series. It was massive. Caitlyn is probably a better ADC here than they had in game one. So yeah, it just seems like TDRG win draft, but even harder this time, Rob.
Yeah, like honestly, like even I mean, like really overall, I think it can be kind of back and forth. It really, for me, what's really going to make the difference is going to be the jungle pressure, which comes out, which comes out from the side of either Xavier or I Love Waffles. Xavier, considering he went out of the graves, he wasn't not able to do a ton in the early game. They were able to get a couple of picks here and there though, but with the set, should be able to make a bit more of a difference. I got to be honest with Axeman, set isn't my favorite pick in terms of jungling, since he's consistently been hit over and over again with a lot of his base stats and what his damage does. He's not amazing. And I find his ganks a little bit telegraphed, because if he's not able to land his facebreaker or his haymaker, really his facebreaker in general, he can't do much, right? And that's the main thing. Yeah. And so I what I do find though is what set junglers usually do is that they'll go ahead and they'll bring hex flashes with them to be able to try to like circumvent that a little bit, one might say.
Yeah, give him a little bit better gank pass. Now, Rav, I'm not sure if Karma's going to stay in the top lane for the Syndicate, but if it does, I think it's great. I think this is a fantastic flex up to deal with Kronk. I don't think running back the Aatrox Shen lane is a good idea for the Syndicate. It didn't end well in game one. I don't think it's going to end well in game two here. I think Karma's going to have a much better time. You just stand back, you hit with the ranged abilities. You can stack up some heal cut in the early game with something like the early Morellonomicon. You could even go for the X-Cal, something like that, just to deal with Aatrox. And Karma is very slippery too, so it's going to be difficult to camp this top side. I like the way this is. I got 5 seconds before they have to lock in.
I mean, I can't imagine they switch, but maybe so. OTG is going to decide to go ahead and go on the top side. Toxic Vein it'll come down to Toxic Vein is come to go in support. That could also be an option, because top Karma hasn't really been a thing in a very long time, as we are getting word of it'll disconnect on the side of TDRG.
Interesting. Not sure what happened there. I guess a client crashed or something like that.
Yeah.
I expected it to be the Syndicate because they wanted to switch around or something and found out that they had to lock in. But no, that is actually from TDRG. They crashed out. So we're going to be redoing that draft here. And hopefully we'll get through that pretty quick. But
yeah, we should be perfectly fine overall. Though what we've seen, it should be a fun little top Karma, which is interesting. Like considering a lot of Karma's, oppressiveness used to be able to come from her AP scaling very early on. Along with that, her ultimate and her Q were on a much shorter cooldown. Right, especially before too. So she was able to just like, so she was able to just spam Qs early on and able to get health back as well with the W and her root. So it was not hard for her to be able to contest anybody in lane, but nerfs did come through based upon her base stats. So I gotta be honest with you, Axeman, I'm skeptical about this.
Yeah, it's not great. I would say if I'm going to take a support topside, I'd take like Lulu, maybe in Soraka or something like that. Karma's a little strange, but I don't know. I think it'd be fine. It'll probably be better than Shen. Would you give us that at least? I think it's probably better than Shen. But yeah, the Shen lane was just super bad.
Yeah, this is Axeman. I gotta say, if you're looking at these two drafts, what are you thinking?
I'm still thinking Syndicate kind of got wrecked in this draft. This is very strong from TDRG. They have so many weapons for starters at every stage of the game. You have Aatrox and Olaf in the early game snowballing super hard. with Aatrox just not falling off until very, very late in this game. Sa's going to be scaling up nicely down the bot lane. You have this Caitlyn, one of the best late game champions in the game. And yeah, I mean, filled with tons of utility, this team filled with tons of damage, weapons, all that good stuff. You can pick any two champions on this comp and they have synergy together somehow. I'm not going to go through all of them because that's a lot of relationships, but this is just a really good synergistic comp. There are some things going for the Syndicate's comp. There's a lot of things protecting Kai'Sa. If Kai'Sa can get ahead and get into that mid to late game, Syndicate's comp is going to be very good because they can protect this Kai'Sa better than a lot of comps can, and that Kai'Sa is going to be putting down a lot of damage. Now, we already talked about Kai'Sa not being against Caitlyn. We already talked about the jungle set, the top karma, these things being things that aren't great for just in those roles, but also just for trying to protect carries. That's what they're going to be trying to do. But you mentioned the gank routes from set. That's going to be difficult to pull that off in a team fight to really peel. So yeah, I'm skeptical of Syndicate's comp. I think TDRG's is great though. It's a little unorthodox. There's some interesting pieces here, but I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, with that being said, though, the client is done. The players are all loaded in, and we're about to get into game number 2 for Syndicate versus TDRG. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. And now we are back for some more League of Legends. I'm Rash joined by the Axeman 87, and we are into it for game number 2 for TDRG versus the Syndicate. Axeman, how you feeling?
Doing just fine. Thanks, Rob. What's up, guys? Axeman 87. And yeah, it's the Syndicate versus TDRG. Like you mentioned, we're going to look at the level 1 plays here. Syndicate with the 5-point again. A little bit of defensive position from Xavian. This time a little more aggressive from TDRG as they got the anti-invade. But further up in the jungle this time, feeling a little bit more confident for themselves here. Both sides have a fairly confident level 1 with the Shen on Syndicate and the Olaf on TDRG. But yeah, I don't think we'll see anything here level 1, Rav. I think this should be just a slow start. Maybe something, some action at level 2, level 3 from the Olaf, from the Shen. But yeah, for now, nothing.
Yeah, honestly, no side wants to go ahead and give over. And I think especially early on, as Syndicate makes sense when they're playing it safe. You know, considering last time things didn't go too well for them. But I will definitely be watching, number one, you know, like how Pure Salt does in lane yet again, considering it'll be the Shen support. So that's going to be an absolutely massive point of contention. And then how also Toxic Vein does. Like, this Karma top is... wow, like I haven't seen it such a long time. So I'm really interested in how it's able to like be able to land and sustain against Kronk, because you saw how oppressive he could be with just a little bit of support. And considering it's an Olaf, it can literally run down Toxic Vein.
It definitely can if they're in that situation, and I think Karma does a little bit better than Shen if they're in the exact same situation as they are in game 1. Whether or not we'll see, oh, here we go.
Same situation coming out so far, the OTG. You saw it bring out a nice little taunt, forcing Tilo to go ahead and have to pop the pods early on too, though. But because you see, Kaisa Shen able to put a fair amount of damage because you're level 1. Zillions, his early game is just not there. In my opinion, one of the worst early games of really many laners. Like, it's really bad. His autos do nothing at all. As time bombs only go ahead and land 1. So he needs time to be able to become the Zillion we all know and despise.
Exactly. It's so telegraphed too, right? I mean, you just have the 1 damaging ability, and it's like this huge bomb thing he throws out. Yeah, just back up and wait for him to throw it, and then don't walk into it. It's that easy. But I think zone control is a big thing for Zillion. Speed Saber.
Side though, Zyvin going to go ahead, get the flash off Speed Saber. Ooh, just barely misses. Barely misses the W. Ooh. But nice flush coming out of him. Speed Saber, though, using the health ability beautifully.
Yeah, it does well to get out of that scenario. And just barely escaping, but that's still going to put Karando up several waves. I think just 2 waves here as they crash this next one into the turret. But you can see already the CS discrepancies. Oh, actually, the teleport back in from Speed Saber. So not as much as I was originally letting on. But ooh, the junglers are going to meet here in the bot side river.
Yeah, Professor Brand has to go ahead and pop the flash to early on. But Xavian meeting up with the Olaf early too. But Olaf, as you know, is very strong. Solo kills the Shen. It's a first blood going over to I Love Waffles. Speed Saber going out to Karando. A lot of damage already down. He has that gap closer and is able to put out a fair amount of like assassin type abilities. But Olaf is the last person you want to get a solo kill.
For sure. In the early game, getting that snowball going for Olaf is one of the big win conditions that an Olaf has, right? Is ending that game as early as possible. And he's already getting the CS leads as well. Olaf is off to the races here, but ooh, the taunts.
Nice taunt. OL Rice pops the flash. 1 more auto. But he finally gets as that goes over to OTG, as Professor Bard able to speed away. But this time, bot side Syndicate doing a lot better than we saw last time. The Krunk was able to come down and exert some pressure. But so far, it looks like, you know, it's really not going their way. Syndicate looking a lot better.
They certainly are. And folks will remember back to Season 2 when the Syndicate won the Style Esports League. They won it with Shen support. And we'll see if they can run that back here, but they're off to a pretty good start so far. Maybe Shen support is a silver bullet they need to get back on top of the league. Only time will tell as this first dragon of the game spawns. It is an ocean dragon, fairly valuable for a first dragon. And both sides are going to be looking for this one. just so impactful in the early laning phases. Xavian is already here. He's looking for mid prio.
Yeah, I imagine so. Like, it should be pretty big overall. It's like just considering how much, uh, like how much the syndicate was behind previously around this time. They want to try to at least gain priorities through at least neutral objectives, right? Because previously as well, they also lost both. Yeah, I believe it was both the Red Herald as well. So getting early towers can be huge, but I love Waffles coming in, but into a 3v1 pretty much though. You should go ahead and yes, he is dead as he even gets his revenge, but TB coming from the top of Crunk as well. OTG slowed up as well on the back to Krandos there. They run the bomb onto anything. But we see Professor Bard goes ahead, go Q down. He's dead as well. But Kronk fighting up at the backside. OTG. It's taken down so far. A 2-for-1 so far for the side of Syndicate. And they're doing this little dance back and forth. Oh man, Xavier! Oh! It's a shot to the face. Toxic Vein as well, falling quite low. As you see, Tarkilo right is able to free fire. And that's double kill for Speed Saber. That was so back and forth here, given enough time for I Love Waffles to be able to spawn. And Kurt, that is it. He is dead. And this is Drag going over to TDRG. Oh my god, Axeman.
Wow, I never could have imagined that TDRG win this fight. I mean, there's a point in this fight when they were 3v5, right? They lost 2 of their members to some of that poke damage, and they still ended up winning this. Now, OTG looking maybe for the steal. Not going to think better of him back off. Yeah, that goes uncontested here. At the end of the day for I Love Waffles, they win a massive team fight, just sprawling over several minutes, I believe, over this first dragon. And that's exactly what we're expecting from these two teams, is this big fight over this dragon. It's so important that they pick this up. It's going to be huge for Kronk. Oh, wow. Look at this damage. It's just massive.
Man, like, obviously huge. Honestly, exactly what you expect, right? Karmatot not able to have the same sustain as before, or really the overall same damage profile that never existed before coming out of her. And Aatrox too. Like, we saw Kronk perform on the Aatrox before as well. And considering he got 3 assists out of that, not really killed her, but still assists can be quite valuable, giving a couple hundred gold over to him too. Like, just being able to put out so much damage, but you see, that's wow. Toxic Veins not having a good time, falling a bit behind her farm and just getting oppressed.
You're exactly right there, Rav. Most CS in the game goes down to I Love Waffles with 57, out farming everybody on this Olaf, which I don't know, Rav. That's something else. But bullfighting in the bot lane, both sides disengaging. Yeah. A lot of defensive tools that were still available, but now it's looking like Waffles is moving towards the Rift Herald, continuing their unmatched objective control thus far. This should go down uncontested too, just like the Dragon did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Xavian's not even pathing to that side of the jungle. So
pretty easy so here. We're seeing just the overall dominant type lead that they had on the bot side for the Syndicate, as now has unfortunately gone away because Tila Rice was able to get 2 kills for herself. So it's like, and a Caitlyn who's ahead with the BF sword, and also being able to go ahead and get the shard too for a bit more of sustain in lane. It's going to be a lot tougher for OTG Pure Saw to be able to survive at this point, as Toxic Vein has to just back out of the tower. There should be top tower coming, going over the side of TDRG, as they should go ahead and summon the Rift Herald too.
Yeah, they're probably dropping it here in just a little bit. I think they drop it once it gets within the threshold. That way it doesn't take too much extra damage. But we see this pretty often. Xavian looking for the gank on the bot side. This is exactly what he needs to be doing. Nice
flange shot and beating up to Tilo right. So exhausted up and tots it back. A couple more autos, but the exhaust won't do much. Oh my god, that was a very nice ult coming from Xavier to make sure that Zillion gets out of the way. Cannot use the ult since he is level 5. So good kill coming on the bot side though, but Rift Herald will go in and get second charge, but not the full turn.
Yeah, they don't have it quite yet. I think they might just pick it up anyway though. Toxic Vein really no way to deal with this situation. But here comes the mid laner. Here comes Karando. Maybe they can fight together. Maybe not.
I mean, yeah, he sees the situation, decides not, Pram. I'm good. Speed Saber's here as well. Nice. Gans the pull. Gets he helps back too, and Ellie's power immediately out onto Corando. That's gotta hurt using your own power against you. As I love waffles.
Ooh.
Takes one tower shot too many. Perception will pick that up. We see Xavier as well fighting up against Beat Saber. Back and forth here. Doesn't land the 2 damage onto him. Xavier in some troubles because you see Kronk is here fighting a 3v1 this point. Hasn't popped the ultimate, doesn't have it. Gets the kill though. Between two is will not get out as Pearsall will go ahead and get the revenge. As wow, that was such a back and forth fight, X-Men.
It really was a lot of moving pieces there and a lot of latecomers to the fight there. Xavier kind of arriving on the back end, only to come in and kind of bad engage and die there. But yeah, some good things happening. They get the kill down onto Kronk, which is good, good enough. But at the end of the day, they just don't really get what they were looking for. It's like a 4K gold lead, I think, right now for TDRG. That's not good. I mean, we're only at 11 minutes, so OTG might be looking for something. Gets a taunt down.
Yeah, gets a bunch of damage down too. It's like he does have some of the armor because Xavier is here. He's gonna go ahead and delay it, and Tilo Rice will do so much with topside. But TP coming in for Speed Saber as well. Just go ahead and scare everybody away. That was well done. That was an awesome solid TP.
Oh, yeah. Great rotation there. Speed Saber is going to be picking up Stand United, a dangerous ability for Silas to have, and really for anybody to have, to be honest, just being able to join the fight and drop that Master Shield. But, not looking forward to seeing Speed Saber use this. Dragon spawning in just a few seconds, and TDRG are already looking to have an easy time picking this up. They're setting up vision control. They have 5 men stacked in the area. It's going to be difficult for Syndicate to get at this, see if they can.
And Dragon is pretty much already down.
Already gone, yeah.
They can't even contest as they said hi and bye. That was it. There's so much damage coming out of TDRGs. We see Croc goes in, pops the ultimate immediately. President Demon Form gets a little bit of that knockup. That third Q finally comes down. That's a dead OTG. And Pure Salt as well will be none the wiser. I love waffles. Just one more tower shot. We'll go to get him. Yeah, there you go. Corrado will pick that up as Xavier being speeded up, pulls back onto the Caitlyn as Tilo Rice is dead before he hits the ground.
He definitely was. That was a lot of damage. And you might have noticed Stand United was used there on I Love Waffles just before they died. It got canceled, though. That shielding was not enough. So Speed Saber no longer has Stand United. That'll be on quite a long cooldown, I believe. Oh, burn on Toxic Vein. Yikes.
As Toxic Vein just getting absolutely dealt with. There's a Stand United coming for the original Shen to make sure that Toxic Vein is going to go ahead and survive. As of right now, though, the Syndicate looking at just trying to just open up the map to at least gain some pressure because they still have almost all the turrets standing, right? And they need to be able to gain some space to move around because you see topside as well. They're almost pushed them to the base, though.
They certainly are, and that's a massive advantage for them. Corando probably going down here.
Taking a bunch of damage, flash, and one more Q. And there's the auto. That's a dead Syndra here. Karunk is so strong.
Yeah, we might not be going to game 3 here. It's a little too soon to call it, but man, it is just looking so good from TDRG. They're having a crazy time. Hex Flash here from Zabian. See if he can make anything happen. Doesn't look like it, but you have to be pretty preemptive about the Hex Flashes. So I would imagine that's how most Hex Flashes go. You just kind of flash over something. By the time you have it channeled, there's nothing over there to actually do. So personally, I don't really like Hex Flash. Do you ever take it, Rav?
Honestly, it really depends on what I'm playing more often than not. If I'm playing engaged type junglers who have short range abilities to be able to try to engage, I would honestly I might. It really depends for something like on a set or maybe on a Zac I might. But we see Kronk going in against 3, gets ulted back into the tower. So much damage, able to survive though for a couple more seconds as Xavier is the first one to get eliminated. Pure Size to hold out, doesn't get much. So as Silas is going absolutely insane, the backline gets shut down by OTG. Ragnar Apocrypha, I Love Waffles to be able to live and not get stunned up by the Syndra. As you see, the Syndicate looking for more nice taunt in. Corner Professor Bard as the corner shift for him to survive. Kronk, though, it's a knockup, should be dead as well. But Tilo Rice is falling away on the back line for so long.
Nice.
He's just untouched. All these crits coming in, all those Storm Razor hits will not make a difference as Taxavane will go ahead and get away. As such a back and forth fight here, but Tilo Rice meeting Taxavane yet again. The crit back and forth. The net will not land. If one more auto, that is it.
That really is it. I think that might be it for more than a few things here in this game, Rav. Just such a huge lead. 5K now, but it's not just the gold, the dragons, the items. It really is everything going for TDRG at this point. Xavian looking to maybe take this Rift Field, but he's just zoned away immediately. And they just don't have any kind of map control, any kind of vision, nothing like that. And yeah, I mean, but how do you come back from this? I know I'm supposed to tell you, but I genuinely don't know either. So maybe there is just no path, and we're wasting our time talking about it. But we can take a look at the differences between game 1 and game 2. Speed Saber doesn't quite have the same level of Magi stacks that they had in game 1. There's like a few less. He did take that death a little bit later into the game, which reduced his stacks a little bit more. That's about it. I think I Love Waffles is probably a little bit less ahead than they were, but they have more dragons, so it's probably fine.
At this point, with the way I'm looking at X-Men, like the goal lead isn't amazingly far. It's 6K. And the Syndicate, you even saw in that fight, didn't do too bad. They did go ahead and find the right engage, but they just couldn't stop Speed Saber from just kind of decimating and really going on to Pure Assault, though. And because Pure Assault dying is a massive amount of damage, it's a massive amount of damage just immediately gone from the team fight to Xavier as well. Also went ahead and got picked out. So far, the way I see it, OTG needs to definitely try to peel for his laner a lot better than he did before, and they cannot let Tilo Rice just fire away, because the entire time that Caitlyn was pretty much just putting on autos and putting on all those crits for free, which is so unfortunate. But Dragon's going up mighty quick here, and yeah, I don't think they can stop this. This is Soul Point coming in for the side of the TDRG. LTG has to go and get away. Fun thing I did want to say for those who may or may not know. Silas, when he steals Syndra ultimate, if Syndra has balls down as well in the area,
no way.
Silas as well, they can go ahead and use it for as engage comes in onto OTG. Tilo Rice takes a huge chunk of damage. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And now, right now, this TDRG, after going back out too, as that was a nice bomb.
That was a really good bomb there, and I didn't know about that Syndra Silas interaction. I would go ahead and say that makes Silas a Syndra counter, but because that's pretty wild.
Immediately takes out of the weak engage and immediately as a resurrection, but on to Professor Bard though. So on the support, maybe not the target you want, but the target you will get though. As of right now, as no kills will be had, but this should at least be mid tower coming in for the Syndicate.
It's such a shame too. It was great positioning on the ultimate, but yeah, you're right. I mean, they got the Zillion. I guess they get Zilla ult, if nothing else, and that's pretty valuable, but they're going to be looking for the outer mid turret here. Syndicate suddenly filled with some kind of fire. Yikes. Just in on Tilo Rice. And I think the thing is, there's just no mana. Nobody has mana. I Love Waffles is out of mana. Bar is out of mana. Tilo Rice was out of mana too, and they just couldn't answer any of the aggression from the Syndicate.
Yeah, that was just honestly a really nice talk coming from OTG to really immediately go in on Tilo Rice. And plus a chain follow from Scat of the Week from Corando as well was made for an easy pickoff. And that was a pretty decent shutdown too, which went right over onto the Syndra, which could easily become one of the ways you can go to get back in the game for the side of the Syndicate. Because you're seeing that she's landing a lot against Scat of the Weeks, which is huge as Speed Saber goes in fighting against Xavier, but it's a 2v1. And I don't think Xavier wants this.
Some interesting itemization. It happened a while ago, but I just noticed it now. It's GLP in the mid lane for Speed Saber instead of Protobelt. I don't know if we talked about that yet, but that's pretty interesting. Normally you go for Protobelt for a little bit more mobility, but I guess slowing down the person you're chasing is the same thing as like speeding yourself up. Like those are functionally the same. So I don't know. I think this is probably fine. You do get a lot of the efficiency of GLP, which is a very efficient item. So this is interesting. He's having a lot of success with it. So I think I might have to try this in solo queue or something, Rap. But this, I don't think this is something we normally see. I'm pretty sure it's normally pro developed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like it would be as Professor Bart is going to speed away. We're going to survive for the time being, though. But yeah, I mean, Rockets or a little bit of pocket sand, a little bit of back and forth already. Speed Saber going to go take away, going to go Stats Alter, which could be actually huge. Joe Starbuck can be massive in team fights, because one fun interaction which I've seen is as soon as Set goes ahead and ult somebody, or let's say he goes ahead and ult Speed Saber should be go ahead and ult him back. A speed in, OTG flashes in, misses the taunt though. I don't have to get it on to anybody. That's a lot of engage immediately down for side of the Syndicate.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for them there that they weren't able to get anything from those flashes, the Hex flash from Zabian and the actual flash from OTG, but it's a good attempt. That's the kind of things they need to be looking for. But unfortunately, they did put a lot of resources in this mid lane while TDRG. Ooh.
Xavier take a bunch of damage. Ace the whole out. No, block there, the shed. He should be fine. Body block there. As Corona Shift has to be used on Tilo. Rise up on the top side, the Toxic Vein is going to get rooted up. But look at how much his autos do flash back. Oh my god. The karma gets deleted.
Yeah, there's just something about Kronk, man. He's so unkillable right now. And just the one item, too, with the Black Cleaver and a bunch of components for himself. I think he's going to back and get Death's Dance, maybe after this blue buff, but he might just stay out and keep going, to be honest. I don't think there's really anything preventing him from doing so. No, he's going to take the reset before the dragon comes up. It's probably a smart idea there. But yeah, it's going to be the Death's Dance. And this is pretty much Exodia for Aatrox. You're at the Black Cleaver, so nothing can stand in your way. You have the Death's Dance, nothing can kill you. And this is a very, very strong position for the Aatrox to be in. And his team doesn't even need him to be strong, right? They're just playing this 1-3-1, playing it super slow and choking out Syndicate over time. It's just these mid lane turrets left, Rab. There are no lane turrets in the side lane.
Yeah, as I'm interested, as Tilo Rice has opted to go for the RFF instead of the IE. Second and third item, okay, fast. I think OTG missed the time yet again. Bunch of damage down, blocks a bunch of it though, so should be fine. As drag is up, this could be soul for TDRG. If they do manage to go ahead and take it, but Syndicate needs to fight. This is all already set up around the TP coming in from the backside, from Speed Saber. They're going to get it engaged. OTG already at half. We're seeing they're going to clear up the vision. That was a nice crit. Already on a Toxic Vein. Croc goes up, knock up onto 2. Traps a comment in. He goes in, pops the ultimate. He gets ultimate back immediately, though. But look at Tilo Rice. He's immediately on the backside. But, Zillion is dead almost so fast, though. But it doesn't necessarily even matter, because you see Naka coming back and forth from this Aatrox double kill coming in. For a Speed Saber, Tilo Rice and Krug are pretty much untouched, so they could not get onto the ADC. As he's able to just free fire, has a red buff, but no.
Another one!
Nice flash move to go and survive. That's just a net 2. Ooh! That was a dirty crit from Tilo, as that is a dead save and true damage, barely. Not gonna finish him off. That's double buffs for the Caitlyn, and he played that fight beautifully as that assault point for TDRG.
Yeah, they got it, the Mountain Soul here, and what a play. I mean, there's a couple times there where it looked like the Syndicate might be able to take that fight. Karando doing a lot of damage, getting the shutdown on the Speed Saber was absolutely huge for him. And they still got that gold, which is good, but yeah, losing the fight, getting ace, and then losing Dragon Soul immediately after, that was a rough one for the Syndicate here, Rav. And now both sides would be looking towards the Baron, but only one side really has the map control to actually look for that. We talked about Exodia coming together for Kronk, the build being a huge power spike for them. All these bonus resistances they're getting, I make them essentially unkillable. I mean, we said maybe they were already unkillable with Death's Dance, but now they definitely are.
Not yet. They most definitely are here, because I was saying it before, I'm going to say it again here. If they cannot get onto Tilo Rice, it's like, it just really doesn't matter, because you're seeing that they just can't deal with like Speed Saber like at all, as this should be a dead Zelina, but go ahead, pop the Corona Shift, because Xavier is using his ultimate on the support when he needs to actually ult out Speed Saber, but we see right now the Olaf is running in onto the whole team. That is a dead Corando, but true damage out. But oh my God, look at just the stupid amount of bullets that Tito Rice is able to pour out. Every single Q hits like a truck here, Axeman.
You're 100% correct. I mean, this is a fantastic Caitlyn player. I mean, we're talking about headshots, just headshot after headshot, getting them almost reflexively here. It's going to be TRG. They're on the Baron. But yeah, biggest thing about this fight, just AoE damage and Syndicate not spreading out enough. There was so many Syndicate. Oh, Toxic Vein.
Toxic Vein. A little bit of trouble, gets the health back though. But Speed Saber should be dead, diving a bit too far. That is unfortunate. And the shutdown going over to Pure Assault nonetheless. So, like, that could be the way to go. That could be the way to go ahead and get back in the game. If Pure Assault goes and scales up, though, considering he does almost have 3 items to his name. So should be able to go ahead and put out a lot of damage. Speed Saber being a bit overzealous.
Yeah, a little overzealous there, but his team gets the Baron. So I'm not gonna say worth or anything. I think that was a pretty bad play for him, but it's not too big a loss, I guess. But anyway, yeah, that IE is completed by Tilo Rice eventually for the 3rd item. And yeah, I think just the 3-item 80 carry on any champion is probably a really strong point, but on Caitlyn, massive. This is just huge for him here.
Yeah, and finally getting the IE though, although my opinion should have come a lot earlier, but sooner rather than later, honestly. But because with this coming in, Tilo Rice is going to be disgustingly strong, more than he was. OTG, even with all the armor that he has, is barely surviving here as I Love Waffles is farming the enemy jungler. Oh, as nice still by Corando. Good job by him. Will take the blue away. Because I Love Waffles might be in a bit too deep. Pop the Ragnarok, not disable the Ghost as well. Sorry, not the Ghost, but just all that speed to be able to go to survive. That's unfortunate.
Definitely, I think he might have smited something and picked up Nimbus Cloak from something, but he definitely got a speed boost from somewhere. Not 100% sure where it was, but yeah, Olaf just basically walks out of the situation. Most junglers would be dead there, but that's a pretty good ult.
Yeah, Xavier goes in onto Professor Bard yet again. 2 damage out onto Tilo Rice, and he's outnumbered here. He should be dead up at the backside though. Corando is dead, but Tilo Rice is done for. Corando pushing on the top side, fighting up against Toxic Vein. He does not stand a chance at all. Flash for flash though going in, but 2 shutdowns here for Pure Assault. This could be huge, but I Love Waffle is just running into Pure Assault back and forth. Trying to take him out, but will not be able to do so. As there it is. That is a dead jungler. But Crunk is trying to go ahead and end the game. It's so Speed Saber. They're both bringing both of their waves in onto both of these turrets. This is insanity. Here, Axeman, as they're both hitting. As oh my God, Speed Saber, both Crunk are so strong. You go ahead and take out the carries. It doesn't even matter because TDRG are just so far ahead. They didn't see their lanes. A double kill coming in from Kronk, and domination to domination here in both of these games here, Axeman, as the back and forth will finally end, as this is the series for TDRG.
And what a commanding series it was. Just total domination from them, really. Picking up Dragon Soul in both games, which for me as a jungler is the mark of true control over a game, is just getting that Dragon Soul and as many dragons as it takes to get the soul, right? I mean, there was no dragons for the Syndicate. I think they got 1 in game 1, maybe, but I might even be misremembering that. I think I Love Waffles got both Rift Heralds too. They picked up Baron here towards the end. Just absolutely insane objective control. Just great lane pressure from all lanes. I don't think they actually lost a lane in this game. But yeah, I mean, they just top to bottom by every metric. Much better team, at least tonight anyway. We've seen a lot of good things from the Syndicate historically. So I think they might have just been a little bit off their game here tonight. There's also a lot of things we saw from them that weren't good as far as meta goes, right? I mean, we see the Karma top didn't end up working out for them. I don't think Kai'Sa was great this series. The Shen the Shen support, was pretty good. I think it probably went as best as it could go, But yeah, they're better supports, right?
Yeah, just immediately. So here, almost like all of the teams do definitely deserve a massive round of applause. They both did beautifully well, but TRG just ultimately the better team tonight. Though, with that being said, I have it Ravish, the most ravishing man on the internet, joined by the Sultry Axeman 87, and of course, big shout out to our producer Tori, as always, for just being phenomenal. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful night. Peace.